Buongiorno. Okay, excellent. I don't know in Afrikaans, but I only know in Totsins, which is correct? Any Africans here? Yeah, Totsins is when you say bye, so let's start to. Okay, welcome to our morning town hall. Exciting because today we're going to talk about not Antarctica, as you can see. It should be Africa, right? So, ready? Alright, so we're gonna have itinerary updates. And that is the silence, good. We talk about the most common, boring and interesting question, which is visas, as well as vaccines. Then Julia will give you a brief highlights of Shorex. You will need to be able to save all the Shorex and write it down. Every slide will last only 5 seconds, so be fast with your phones. It's always good to talk about monies from time to time, so we can talk about OBCs and refunds, as well as about currency exchange to apply your refunds. Next. Everybody now, let's welcome Lali and Nibu.
I tried to get Nibu to do a dance with me, but he said it was way too early in the morning for this.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I mean, we are here, looking pretty, standing in front of you. Lali and I, I'm standing next to you, next to Lali, who's looking pretty. The real work is done by Alessio, Julia, Dolly, Michele, and the team. They put all this together, but I also would like to mention the real unsung heroes. Over the last couple of months and over the next couple of months, that's the guest admins. Can I ask you girls to stand up, please? Can you please give us on stage? These 3 girls, they go through all the immigration, passports, dealing with the shoreside authorities, and it varies from port to port, So, thank you all girls, thank you. So I'll hand it over back to Lali.
I saw it firsthand. They're in that conference room with so many passports, and they have this crazy organizational system that I was very, very impressed by. So, props to you young ladies. So my name is Lali, or Aurora Yera Rodriguez, and I am your AVP of Guest Experience, visiting you guys from Shoreside. And it's been a little under a week that I've been here with you, and I have 1 week left because I will depart in Osaka. And I will say, from my time on board, I've been so impressed with watching all of you and how you have created this amazing little utopian society, this little town of perfection. I've been observing, I've been taking notes, I'm just watching, and I see you guys, you know the name of every bartender, every Windjammer waitstaff. You know when they're going home. You know the names of their children. You are all greeting each other. Like, I watch the kids run up to different families. The kids live on their own, like they're like little tiny grown-ups that know everything that's going on board. And what you've been able to build on this ship, I don't think anyone can understand unless they see it firsthand. So I thank you, our guests, for making this so incredible. I cannot wait to go and report back on this, because I knew what I thought I would experience and see, but the camaraderie and the bonds and the friendships. Someone even told me that they were going to invite Derek to their wedding when they got married. It's insane. But thank you very much. I'm honored and proud to be here, and I'm going to give it back to the team so they get to give you all the fun and exciting information that you've been waiting for.
Alright, back to us. I will not be dancing or singing because I have none of those skills, so don't worry. I'll save you my performance, rather being sarcastic on stage. So, now some slight changes to adjust your experience in the sports. So in Port Elizabeth and De Galais. I don't speak French, sorry, out of my fair language. So we're gonna have additional time in there, so you can have a better tours. So that's a good news. And also we shift a bit arrival and departure in Muscle Bay and Cape Town as well to cater to our tour experience. You will have all the informations with you, all right? Excellent. Next, take notes. That's the important part. Okay, let's start with the good news. Ghana, as you know, is this country requires visa for everybody, regardless where you come from. So we will take care of that. And not only for world cruiser, but for everybody who is here on board. If you are a world cruiser, if you are a segment, if you are a back-to-back mini segment, all of you will get this visa for Ghana, okay? We are here all together in this boat, so we'll make it happen, okay guys? You don't sound excited for the poor minus people. Okay, nice. They all pay anyway, so that's why we take care of everybody. Next. Okay, now, this is, as you know, Africa last minute. We are working closely to all different authorities and countries. However, there is not a nice relationship between countries. I need to find an example. Anybody from North Korea? I don't think so. So, if you're from North Korea, for example, so I don't take nobody from the audience. If you're from North Korea and you want to go to South Africa, you might need a visa, right? So that might need additional step from our side and from your side to try to get your visa. So if you're from one of these countries, or if you know that you are restricted on this country, let us know so we can check case by case. However, for all these ports, you might remain on board, but they might not allow you to get off the ship if you don't have a visa. We will try the best to see if we can get you on arrival or work on a visa ahead of time. But let us know and we will contact you as some guests to speak to about Africa. But we'll reach out to you, don't worry. We are trying the best to make sure that you can be able to enjoy Africa. Cool? Okay, next. Independent journeys. Most of you, they choose to enjoy Africa. You want to see, I don't know, Victoria Falls, go to do your own safari. You want to go to Petra, Jordan, then come back to Africa. That's great. However, if we are able to cover you for your visa, if you are with us on board all the time, if you choose to leave the ship and then you come back in Seychelles, you come back in Namibia or in Dakar, if there is any visa that applies to you to fly into the country, we will not be able to absorb the cost or help you with that. We as a company, we can sponsor you while you are on the ship and travel with the ship. If you do independently, it's all in your hands. Okay? You can do it, but just to let you know, I don't expect to see, I just got a visa because I fly from Akaba to Dakar and then I want to get my refund. That ain't gonna happen. Okay? Alright? And the same apply for vaccination. You might have exception while you're on a boat, but not if you fly on a plane. So if you do trip interruption, double check what is needed as well in terms of vaccination. Okay, and as usual, you know the rules. If you want to do a trip interruption, let us know 2 weeks before. We still get requests 2 hours before arrival, which you know is complicated because we need to give manifest to authorities to let them know who is going to be physically disembarking the ship. We have to check any visa, any flights, and so on and so forth. It's a lot of work for us. If you plan, I know it's hard work for you, but you will make our life easier so we don't go to sleep every night at 3 a.m. to find information, okay? So please try to adhere with the timeline. Emergency can happen, but please, as much as possible, 2 weeks before. Okay, now, I'm not a doctor, but I'll try to explain the best of my ability. I'm only a biomedical engineer, so I might understand a bit. But, so, yellow fever vaccination. Okay, now, some of you was not received yet the jab for the yellow fever will be getting those yellow fever vaccination in Singapore, all right? So you must get that received before May the 3rd to be in compliance with the effectiveness as you go to Africa, okay? So we're gonna get it by the 24th in Singapore. We will have more communication for that, so just prepare your arm for the job, okay? Then, if you are a world cruiser, don't worry, we'll take care of that. If some of you, world cruiser and so on, you did the vaccination ahead of time back home, there is a little address there, vaccinationaccommodation@rccl.com. You can let us know that you are it already, as well as some of you might need to have what is called an exception letter from the doctor. Right? You cannot get a vaccine, you cannot get this vaccination. You need to provide documentation to us as soon as possible, and that's the email address, okay? Because we need to do a proper manifest for some countries that requires vaccination, okay? Now, some country you will need the vaccination to go ashore. You can be on a boat, but you might need this yellow fever shot to go ashore. Some country might recognize the accommodation, some country might not let you off if you don't have a physical yellow fever. We're gonna go case by case again, but just be patient as we go through this. It's also first time for us. Next. So, if you have this one already done, and you're gonna be on board the ship, you're gonna be refunded of $250 per person for that vaccination. Now, let's say that you choose to do yellow fever and then you don't cruise. Am I gonna pay you? Okay, thank you. No, we are not the Red Cross, you know what I mean? We're still a profitable company, so you know, money matters, so just to let you know. All right, OBCs. Okay, so you see already in your accounts some extra money coming here because of the adjustment we made. So unused OBCs will be refunded on the card on file as usual. You know, we're not a bank, we cannot give cash to everybody, as you might expect, so that's why we're gonna go that back to you. And also, the one for the Africa sailing will be by April 24th. You will see in different notes or different chunks. Okay, and very important, once we refund to the credit card, it's not immediate that we refund the magic shows in your funds. It might take some days or a few weeks, depends on your credit card and bank statements when you're going to do the refund, okay? So don't panic, you're going to get your money, just be patient, okay? And...
Hi, I just wanted to add, we added a lot more staff to process the refunds. It was a very, very manual process because each individual booking requires funds maintenance transfer and a workflow and all these things that the accounting people made us do. We've added a lot more people, so really, you may see that a lot earlier because by the end of this week, early next week, all of the refunds, if you decided to cancel any portion, will be physically processed by Royal Caribbean. But we did this April 24th date for some of our international credit cards where it may take longer for them to actually post. So we figured that this date was a good date for you to ask questions if you haven't seen anything. But the reality is by Friday, Friday is tomorrow. Oh, geez, I don't even know where I'm at. By Monday, some of you guys with US banks may start seeing your funds in-house. Canadians will probably trickle in by Wednesday, and so on and so forth. So just so you know. Thank you, Alessio. Sorry about that.
No, thank you. I'm not good in money. Next. Okay, now talking about statements. This is gonna be a bit tricky. I'll try to explain as easy as I can. So for this current cruise, you will receive 2 statements. Okay. So the first statement will be from April 8 to 17, and the second statement from 18 to 24. So basically, you're gonna see 2 charges on your credit card. You wonder why? Okay. Okay, so we need to do an update of our technical database with all the credit cards, and because of that, we cannot move credit card from point A to point B and move the funds. That's the technical explanation. Basically, we have limitation technology when we do upgrade of short side, so we need to physically charge you for this until 17, and then after the upgrade is complete, we can start again fresh for the next part. Otherwise, we will lose the information of how much you spend already because it's not going to be saved once we do an upgrade. Does it make more sense? No, I know. I try, it's very technical, but the reality is, don't worry, it's not a double charge. It's just a split charge, what you spend until 17 and then moving forward. So just a split charge, okay? We are not gonna take you extra money, don't worry. And this is a summary of some of you, how we get the refunds, okay? This is the exchange rate that we have to get your money back, basically. Check your nationality so you know. I mean, that's really much a summary more than anything. I don't think there is much questions here. If you go dollar to dollar, it's a 1-to-1 ratio, okay? We don't charge extra fee dollar to dollar. But that's good, you know, I mean. And now I'm gonna get you excited because after the boring slides, which is my site, you're gonna get some tour information with Julia.
Good morning, everybody. I see a lot of familiar faces. I have had the pleasure to meet most of you already in person, and I'm super excited to be part of this incredible journey in the Ultimate World Cruise. Are we excited for segment 3? Awesome. So I have some important information regarding tours. I know this is a highly anticipated tour program, and I would like to first thank you for your patience, as our product team, as well as our outstanding tour operators in Africa have been working around the clock to put this incredible program together for you. I know that you wanted a little bit of time to be able to prepare, so sales are planned to be open on April 17th. So a quick reminder that those belong to a future sailing, so you will need to go online through your My Cruise planner to be able to purchase those excursions. So just like you do for any of your future bookings, you need to use a credit card to purchase those tours. So again, they will be available for sale on April 17. This is our next sea date after Osaka, Japan. We will provide you some booking assistance as well as be available to answer any questions you might have at the Safari Lounge on April 17 and 18. So our destination experts will be there to answer any questions you might have and actually assist you to the online booking. You will need to, again, bring your credit card with you if you'd like us to assist you with that booking, okay? Now, we wanted you to be prepared to purchase those excursions, and we would like to have you preview all of the tour descriptions. So what we're gonna do today at 1 p.m. here in the theater, we'll have our destination experts provide you an African overview talk. During this presentation, we will be covering all the main highlights of the ports, as well as all the main excursions that we have. You'll be able to take pictures of the slides. I would highly recommend you bring your cameras, you bring your phones to take pictures, because we will be listing all the highlights, so you'll be able to be better informed as to what they include, the duration and activity levels of all of our tours. Thank you. We are also very excited to be able to offer you a viewing or a preview only description of all the tours. This will be available this afternoon. We are hoping that the system will load and have all the excursions available by 2 p.m. So right after our overview talk, you will be able to see all of the excursions online. Those will be available for view only. So there will be no way for you to book until the 17th. That way you have some time to study. Does that sound good? Awesome. Now I wanted to go quickly through the slides with the list of shore excursions per port, just so you have an idea, but I would highly recommend you come to our overview talk this afternoon at 1 p.m. where we will cover all the excursions in detail. But our first port will be Mahe, Victoria in Seychelles, and this port is known for its pristine coastal line, national parks, and UNESCO heritage sites. So our tour program includes sightseeing opportunities across the island, beach breaks, snorkeling experiences, and a sailing trip. We are also visiting La Digue Island in Seychelles. This is a secluded location famous for its pristine beaches, and our tour program includes a visit to the Valley de Mai Reserve, as well as beach break. Then we're gonna be, sorry if I'm going too fast, hope you can take your pictures. Then we're gonna go to Madagascar, Antsisaranana, and this is the home of the largest trees in the world, the baobabs, and the Red Singi Canyon, as well as the Ember Mountain. So our tour program will include jeep adventures, scenic drive to the Ember Mountain, as well as the canyon and more cultural experiences and a hike to the famous trees. Then we will head to Port Louis in Mauritius, where we will go to, you can experience the Kailasan temple, as well as the citadel, go to more the natural beauty areas, do hiking. The program includes a sailing trip as well, as sea kayaking, hiking, and e-bike journey. So there are lots of options on this port. Then we head to Reunion Island in Ponte Galés, and here you can immerse yourself in the Creole culture, find a diverse range of activities and experiences like hiking, culinary experiences, wildlife, plantation. You can see the lava flow, as well as different museums around town. So those are our options for the port. Then we head to South Africa in Port Elizabeth, known for its beaches, national and game parks. So you get to see an authentic safari experience. We offer overviews of the city, a ferry cruise, as well as many different options for you to go on these game reserves. There is an option, just so you know, for experiencing the reserves by coach, so in a more comfortable setting, other than just the open vehicle options. So that's a great option if you like more comfortable ride through the parks. We are also very excited to be offering 2 overland experiences in Port Elizabeth. These 2 experiences will include, will start from Port Elizabeth and go all the way to Cape Town day 1. So they include 2 nights overstay in a hotel, as well as 3 days of full experience. The first option is Amakala Safari Lodge Overland. This is one of the most famous locations for you to do the game drives. And this specific experience will include 4 different game drives, 1 on day 1, 2 on day 2, and 1 on day 3 before you fly back to Cape Town. So this is a great option for you to experience a little bit more extended safari experience. Now the second option is a combination, so the garden route overland. It's also a 2-night overstay. This one will include a visit to the let me see if I say this right, Tsitsikamma National Park, as well as 2 game drives, and 1 exclusive game drive in the morning. So you actually have 4 different experiences as well. And for both experiences, meals are included and free leisure time at the hotels are also available for you. In this second option, you will not be taking a flight back to Cape Town, you'll be taking about a 4-hour drive back to the port. Now, just a reminder that if you choose the overland options, then you will be skipping Mossel Bay. But in Mossel Bay, this is a known port for the point of human origins, stunning hiking trails, as well as national and game parks as well. The tour program will include culinary experiences, safari, as well as a wine tasting and aloe vera experience. Then we head down to Cape Town. In this port, we're going to stay overnight, which is very exciting. Everybody excited to have 2 days in Cape Town? Awesome. So Cape Town is the oldest city in South Africa, where you can see the famous Table Mountains and the Penguin Island as well. You will have also options for sea kayaking and beach breaks. Go to the wineries and do wine tasting, which they are very known for. You can also see the former jail cell from Nelson Mandela in Robben Island and have this full historical experience. Very impressive area. Chapman's Peak is also available through some of our programs, so there are many options for you to choose here. Now, some of the tours will be available only on day 1 or day 2, so you don't need to check on the options, but there is an opportunity for you to take different experiences on each day and enjoy more of your time ashore. We are also super excited to have another exclusive event, our Crow and Anchor Escapes. Anybody excited for that? Awesome. Have you enjoyed the first 2? Yeah. Those have been amazing events, and we are really happy to be able to offer another one for you in Cape Town. It's going to be on day 1 of our stay there. It's going to be approximately 3:30 p.m. departure. It's a 4-hour experience, and it's going to be coming back in the evening around 7:30. What you're going to experience there is a guided tour of the historical property. We are visiting South Africa's oldest operating winery, Groot Constantia. And this is a very impressive place. You will have the wine tasting, obviously, canapes and live entertainment. Very similar style to what you experience in Montevideo, which is really great. So, and this property is actually very close to Table Mountains, so you'll be able to see beautiful views of Table Mountain as you're enjoying your wine tasting. Now, our next port is in Namibia, Luderitz. It's a remote part of Namibia. It has beautiful mixed German architecture and the famous ghost town. So in this port specifically, we have a limited amount of experiences, but very cool, unique tours designed for you. Especially the deserted mining town is a really cool experience, something very different. As you can see in the picture, the type of experience that you have. We'll also have a boat cruise and highlights of the city. We have a second port in Namibia, Walvis Bay, and in this port we have desert experiences. Sorry, not desserts. I'm hungry, I guess. Desert experiences where you'll be able to take a jeep and go on an adventure in the sand dunes, and or have Namibian culture experiences, a very authentic way to meet villagers and understand their culture and talk to them. So it's a great immersive experience there. We also have the harbor by 4x4 and a wildlife cruise in this port. In Angola, we will be visiting Luanda. Luanda is the capital of Angola and has great historical overviews, a boat cruise, fort and beach visits, and the beautiful Moradora de Lua site. So those will be the options that you have for the day in Angola. Then in Ghana, we are going to visit Tema, Accra, where you'll be able to see the largest seaport. And our tour will include visits to the National Museum, markets, parks, the voodoo experience, which is something very unique as well, and a cultural experience at a fish preservation park. In Ghana, we'll also visit Takoradi. Takoradi is a site where you can see the national park, go on a canopy walk, visit the Cape Coastal Castle, or take a city highlights tour and go on a cocoa farming village. So those will be the options for Takoradi. Also very cultural experience there in this port. And our last port will be Senegal in Dakar. Dakar is going to be our last stop, where the city will include full days island experiences where you get to see most of the sites, city sites experience, wildlife reserve games again, so you can do a game drive in this specific port, some cultural experiences and art experiences, as well as a visit to the Goree Island. So those will be our options for this port as well. We are hoping that you do enjoy, oh, this is not mine, but we are hoping that you enjoy your time ashore and you make the most of your time in Africa. Again, I would like to kindly invite you to come see our overview talk, where our destination experts have prepared lots of information, general information about the ports, as well as the main highlights of all of the tours that we just gave you a brief overview for. And I would like to now call Alessio back to stage.
Thank you, Julia. Excited, isn't it? Okay, I will sit back. I want to check the voodoo experience, but just to prevent voodoo, in case don't get visa for some people, I'm sure they're gonna try to. So just in case, let me know so I can do preventive voodoos. So that will be for me. Anyway, shall we do a quick recap? Too much information? Recap? Okay, no recap. So we will send an email to all of you. So in case you don't have enough time on the phone, or some of you still sleeping, you will be able to see that presentation, okay? So you will know, you will have all this information, but just quickly, visa for Ghana, all good. Yellow fever vaccination coming in Singapore. You need to get the shot before May the 3rd. If you already have vaccination from yellow fever, you need a refund and you're selling with us, you know where to send the information. And then for other stuff, Mara tablets, we let you know. We are finalizing the information on how to use them, and we let you know. Sorry, our doctor is very detailed on that, so it's gonna come to you. Julia did the rundown of all the presentation. You know the different itinerary changes, and you know about the OBCs, refunds, hopefully by Monday, and as well as the last important thing is this cruise split statement until 17, portion 1, 17 to 20, 18 to 24, portion 2. Clear? Okay, now, if you want, we can be standby here for any questions. Do you have any generic questions that anybody would be interested to know? Generic. Don't ask me the question like, I want to go to Muscle Bay and then come back in Cape Town, because it's going to be very specific. But any generic question, please let us know so we can try to catch. Sylvia, can you, or Dolly, can you help me with the... We're going to do maybe 5 or 6 questions only, because we have a busy schedule in the theater today. So just make sure you wave as high as you can so we can catch you. Almost there, yes? Yeah.
And thank you, Dolly, and thank you, everyone. Wow, what an incredible presentation. Thank you so much. But just one general question. Let's see, so if you already have the yellow fever vaccination card, the yellow card, do you want a copy sent to SR Documents at rccl.com?
Just in case, I think it's good if you let us know that you already have it, but the medical team will be the ones to handle all the vaccination procedures. We will let you know how we collect all the information. For your safety, if you want to send us, it's okay, you can send it over, but the medical team will be the one to check on you, as is their prerogative.
This is a general question. I know we can start signing up for this excursions on April 17th, but I worked with Royal Caribbean. Is that a time, Eastern Standard Time in Florida, or that would be our day, which is a day ahead? It always confusion when you say that.
That's a great question, thank you. So how the system will work, just like today, once the tours become available, it happens after midnight when the system loads and pushes all data through. So it should be around 1 to 2 p.m. our time on the 17th. Hopefully.
Unless we do time change for Vietnam, but no, but it should be still in Japan time, so it's still 2, because it's after Osaka, so it's still in Japan time. Yeah.
Okay, for people with yellow fever exemptions or getting yellow fever exemptions, okay, you have one statement: everybody must be vaccinated. And another statement with the exemptions. Does that mean people with exemptions will be allowed to get off in Canada, or they will just be allowed to stay on the ship?
That's correct. So basically, if you have an exemption, you will be for sure allowed to be on board. However, some country might not allow you to go off the ship without a yellow fever shot. It depends on the country, but we can't say that because we are getting different information from different countries, whether they accept an exception or not. It depends on them itself. So we can let you know on a side notes.
If you have a yellow fever exemption in Canada, does that mean you can get off the ship? Or just...
In Ghana, you cannot. Ghana, no. Other country, we have to check because Madagascar is yellow fever, South Africa is not mandatory, so there are different regions. But for Ghana, it's like 100% required. You can stay on board, but you cannot get off the ship without yellow fever for Ghana specifically. Other country, we can check with the local authorities and let you know we are doing the final checks.
You mentioned some changes for the ports for Cape Town. Do the dates for that change, or just the times, or how did you extend the time there?
Just the times adjustment. And so we arrive a bit earlier and later, just some switch on the times to make sure we can accommodate the tours.
Question up here. Up
For
here.
the onboard credit that is non-refundable, do we have to use it before you split the bill?
Good question. The non-refundable credit, if you don't finish by the split of the bill, let us know. We can check with our financial team if we can move it to, because it's the same voyage. Let us know. I think all the way on the...
That was our question, so you're good. Thank you.
Okay.
For the, you explained when you're getting the onboard credits, but you didn't say when we should expect the vaccine reimbursement to come through.
That's a question for Lali.
So that team is working right now. They're about 8-9 days arrear. So that'll give them a little bit of time to process, like a week and a half. And then it'll take also just the same. You guys hear me? Am I that loud? Oh, I love that. Who needs a microphone? So just the same way, give them about 2 weeks for posting. And again, we have been seeing some folks asking for reimbursements on yellow fever vaccines that have canceled their Africa segment. You're paying your medical bills if you're not coming.
I had a question about the friends and family forms that were turned in. When would they be notified about their rooms, etc.?
Lali.
Those bookings are currently going on. They're pretty much almost done, but we are taking other people. Ibu and I have met with many guests that want to stay on, that are on right now, that don't have any friends or family on board. So some of them have spoken with us, so we are allowing folks that are on board and already back to back to back and we just want to stay on to use that friends and family rate. We are going to book them as well, and then we'll do a push out of booking information. Some folks should have already started receiving booking confirmations or booking invoices in their email. So keep your eyes peeled in your email. Cool?
Hello, up here. I had another question about the yellow fever.
I want just to repeat this part from Lali. So any guest who wants to stay on, that is already on board, we will accommodate them on the friends and family. Just allow us some time to process those booking and reservations, okay? Just a reminder.
Yes, on the yellow fever vaccination, it's still unclear because I don't have a way of contacting my doctor now and getting a letter. But I'm over age 70, and it's well known that someone over age 70 should not get the vaccination. No one seems to be addressing that.
So again, I would suggest that you touch base with your doctor and see if you should be taking the yellow fever or not. And then if it's not, submit as the vaccination exception. However, the country where we visit, they have the rights to allow or deny people with or without this vaccination exception. So it's really up to the country to allow you or not. You can stay on board with no issues, except that some country might not allow you with an exception of vaccination.
Question about presentations, please. The material you're showing is excellent. However, please reconsider the background information on it. This one that's on the screen right now is a perfect example. It's very easy to read on the left side as it fades to the right side because you're using white lettering on top of colors. You can't change it. And when it comes time to print these, they do not print well at all.
Don't worry, because we will send you that, not this presentation. It's a nice email when it's like nice traditional wordings for you all. It's going to be a nice email format without this color and all these, highlights and stuff.
So moving forward, when we do a town hall, we're going to send you a recap by email. We're also going to be including not only ultimate world cruisers and segment cruisers, but I have received feedback from some of our back-to-back-to-backers that they feel like they're not getting the information. Some of them are probably snuck in here right now. Hi, if you're here. But we're well via email, so that if you missed any notes, we know that you have them.
And I would say let's do the last two questions, then we can stay behind, so if we can continue behind the seats.
I just had the question, is there a possibility of getting a new calendar with these dates on them, since the calendars most of us don't have the African segment? So we can, because that's how I kind of check things off and make sure I'm up to date on.
You mean the World Cruise calendar from your ticket?
Yeah, if we could get the new ports on a calendar.
Sure, we'll work it
that?
out with our comms team to get it updated. Just give us some time so we can finalize that.
Yeah, thank you.
Last question, Dolly, you choose. I think the gentleman on the fourth line, or yeah.
Thank you. I'm still really unclear about the yellow fever in Ghana. It said, excuse me, it says that you have to have it or you can't even remain on board. So what happens to the people that cannot get it? What do they do?
For Ghana, if you have the exception letter, you can be on board, but with the vaccination exception, you cannot go off the ship in Ghana. You cannot leave the ship. Ghana is the only one for sure that you cannot be off the ship. You must have a vaccination letter to be on board, but you cannot go ashore without a yellow fever vaccination.
Okay, so you can stay on.
If you don't have a letter from doctor and no yellow fever, you cannot be on board. No, let's be clarified with that. So there are two options here. Option one is you get the yellow fever shot. Option two is you get an exemption letter from the doctor that you cannot get a yellow fever shot because of whatever conditions. There is no option three that I choose not to take because I don't want, I don't let nobody know. That's not an option because they are very strict and they want to see, number one, I get the yellow fever, number two, same as back in the days, you remember we started to cruise with COVID days? Whether vaccine or exemption, if enough you don't go on board, at the same concept. So. There is, you will not be able to stay on for that specific part, and then you will correct. We give you enough time to process that, so you will have to be able to get exception or take the job. We give you plenty options on board. If you choose not to vaccine because of your internal decision, which doesn't comply with any medical explanations, then you will have to not be on board in Ghana, but same as anywhere else. Okay, this is a good question. How do you know if the exception is approved? Once you send to our email, then we will reply you back and give us, as usual, this famous 2 weeks time to reply you back. We have enough time from now until Ghana, so it's plenty of time of options for you to consider that. We'll get the room number to Colombia. Okay, so if you have more questions, we're going to stand by here so we can get your questions separately.